Hey, right off the bat, I just want to point out that I don't think this video is going to do very well because it's not a Grimgar video, and it's not technically a Japanese isekai, instead it's a Western isekai. So if you could do me a favor, please hit the like button. I really want to talk about other isekai and other stories out there in the world, and this is one of those stories that I think a lot of you are going to enjoy, especially if you're not interested in a lot of the weirder aspects of isekai from Japan. Now, I want you to imagine an isekai that takes the politics from Overlord, and takes the managing and building your own village from Slime, and takes the tension and fact that anyone could die at any point because they're still weak enough to be killed by people around them from Grimgar, and takes the using game mechanics in new and creative ways in combat from Log Horizon, and it does not follow any weird isekai tropes like banging your own cousin, or slavery. Let's not forget slavery. Don't forget the harem. And sprinkles in a lot of healthy nerd jokes and references to other nerd culture throughout the narrative, while still being very well written and paced excellently, with a cast of characters that you fall in love with. Well, this gives you Dungeon Lord, written by Hugo Weska. By the way, this is on Audible, and this is where I found it, and the voice acting in the audiobook is phenomenal. There is music, there is sound effects, there's different voices for different characters, and I absolutely love this damn book. This book is very clearly inspired by Japanese isekai stories. However, it puts a more Western spin on a lot of the stuff. The main themes of the story is, does power always corrupt? And is the power the cause of the corruption, or is the person who is given the power the one who is already corrupt to begin with? The main character we follow is Edward Wright. Him and his friends and his horrible manager called Brian play a video game that is based off of Diablo, where they all have one last night together playing the game, and the manager dies and blames Eddie for the manager's own incompetence. This causes Brian, the manager, the bastard, the shithead, to try to bully Eddie into deleting his own character, which Ed accepts begrudgingly. But then this jackass tries to fire one of Ed's friends, their cleric, because she chose to listen to Ed over Brian. This causes Ed to actually lose it, and he beats the crap out of Brian. Ed gets arrested, and while waiting in the police car, a mysterious person gets in the police car. And then he drives away with Eddie in the back seat. This person is a demon from another world, and he's come to give Ed a deal to make him the first dungeon lord from another world. And from that point onward, I'm pretty sure you guys can kind of imagine what happens. It's very isekai start. And what makes this story so incredibly interesting is that they don't just forget about Ed's past world. The human world where he comes from still has parts to do in the story. As a matter of fact, the game that Ed plays is connected to the other world, and people from his world, like his friends and his boss Brian, can still interact with Ed through the game. This is a very unique take on isekai, and I really enjoyed listening to this book on Audible. Ed is specifically given the powers of a dungeon lord, but that doesn't really add up to much when you're starting out at, well, level 1. As a matter of fact, his starting stats are based off of his actual biological body, and because stats in their world also kind of mirror D&D, most of his stats are under 10. 10 being the average for humans. So he's already starting out, for the most part, weaker than most people. Except he is given powers to create dungeons and summon little minion people. These minion people are not good in combat whatsoever, but Ed has to come up with ways to use and incorporate these powers in combat, and most of the fights throughout the entirety of the story are basically chess games. It's Ed trying to find ways around other people's powers, and him trying to use his powers that he has as efficiently as possible, while also not dying, because there's no respawning in this world. He also has to manage his own dungeon and his own community of people, and he has to kind of manage his own morality, because if he keeps going too much into his dungeon powers and into a specific line of thinking, he may turn corrupt. But overall, I highly recommend this story. I actually plan on talking more about it in the future. The first book itself is about 9 hours long, so not that much of a read for the most part, and they're usually pretty cheap and on sale often. The third and fourth book are about 19 to 20 hours long, so they do get steadily longer. And we're all still waiting for book 5, Hugo! If you've made it this far in the video, thank you very much for getting to the end of the video. I honestly really appreciate it. It helps out the algorithm quite a lot, honestly. And I would like to take this time to actually ask you guys to go check out my Twitch if you haven't already, or my Kick, because I have to do that now too. Also my gaming YouTube, if they're all in the description down below. And you can come talk to me live on Tuesdays and Thursdays about fantasy stories if you want. By the way, I will be leaving a link to the Audible version of Dungeon Lord in the description and in the comments. And if there's a Kindle version, I'll also be leaving that as well. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.